All right, so that is almost the end of the 1600s and
Yeah,
coming into the 1700s then.
yeah. So at this point, Peter had modernized Russia and military. He had conquered a way to the Black Sea. And then, of course, a big event was the Great Northern War with Sweden, with Russia, Poland, and Denmark, for example, allying against Sweden. And it was a long 20-year long war. And at that time, of course, uh, Peter's armies conquered a way to the Black Sea and established the city of St. Petersburg. Uh, Officially, after it was the name of the Apostle Peter, from Bible, but of course it was city of the Peter, so maybe there were some like more egoistic reasons for naming it such.
Okay, so he kind of named it after himself.
Well, officially it was after Saint Peter.
Okay, okay.
Yeah.
Interesting. Hmm. And when, what's the effect of this war and when does it end?
Well, it ended in 1721. Uh, from being Riga, one of the it was interested in important in history of Latvia, for example, that Latvia and the Baltic provinces became part of the Russian Empire.
From
Or
being Sweden earlier.
yeah, from being Sweden earlier, yeah,
Mm.
and then part of Finland became part of part of the Swedish Finland, one might say, became part of Russian Empire. And one could say that this is the point that Russia became a great power in a European stage. Sort of before it wasn't much of a factor in European politics, but now it was big enough and sort of important enough to make a have a big role in the European great power politics.
So when you say that it wasn't a big part earlier, that makes me think: was it because they were isolationist, that Russia have had an isolationist strategy, or was it the threat?
One could say that both were factors. So Ivan the Terrible tried to expand to west, for example, but he lost that war. So it wasn't like the other European monarchies. Sweden and Poland were at the time so strong that Russia couldn't really expand westward.
But why didn't the European powers expand to Russia, into Russia, if they were not so that important?
Well, during the period of turmoil, they tried. So Poland tried to install a Polish claimant to the Russian throne, and Sweden tried to install a Swedish claimant. So it wasn't for the lack of trying, one could say.
Okay, that makes more sense.
Yeah.
Um, and what happens after the war? They start becoming more prominent. You say.
Yeah, so at this point, Russia expand southward. Like there are a lot of wars with Turkey, for example. So Russia has at the time following Peter's rule. There are many women rulers of Russia at this point. So Catherine the Great is one of the most prominent, and it was during her reign that Russia conquers a way to Crimea, for example, and at time also Poland is divided between Prussia, the leading German state, Austria, and Russia. So a lot of territory is added to the Russian Empire.
Hmm. But it seemed, I don't know if you're biased, but it seemed like this Peter guy was very um, important for Russian history. Like that he did a good job basically in Russia's point of view.
Well, from Russians' point of view, but speaking as a Finn, I would have to point out that the war in the Great Northern War was really brutal. It was like, well, the Russian army is robbed and raped and murdered in territories of modern Finland. So in my country, Peter the Great isn't exactly fondly remembered.
Right. That makes sense. Like one man's gain is another man's loss, basically.
Yeah.
Hey, thanks for watching this clip of the HH podcast. If you want another clip, press down here to your right. And if you want to see the full unedited episode, press down here to your left. And last of all, please subscribe here in the middle. Thank you.